pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I guess before we start the regular meeting, we have the girls basketball team with us tonight.
Yes, Mr. Claypool.
Okay. Are you going to say something, Mr. Cole?
Mr. Cole is always going to say something.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So,
Okay, Mr.
Mr. Claypool.
Thank you. Okay, so we just wanted to take a minute or two tonight to recognize the girls' basketball team. They were awarded the Sportsmanship Award this year from the Northern Tier League. And the officials who worked the games in the league voted for Sarah as the group that was most sportsmanlike on the girls' side. So that's an awesome honor. We're not just about wins and losses, although we like wins, but what these girls have done in the last couple of years is very impressive. Going from no program to no wins to 4 wins and still having the character to be recognized, I think is very impressive and a testament to these kids. So I just wanted to say thanks and wanted to make sure that they got acknowledged with the board here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Ladies, thank you. Thank you.
Can I also say, too, I really appreciate the effort that you ladies put out. I was at a few of your games, and like I said, I'm very proud of you. And I just stuck with the program. You have a couple of good coaches over there, too. So. Thank
Coaches,
you.
anything you guys would like to say? Or?
The only thing I'd like to thank you for recognizing them. I've spoken with a lot of officials. They really complimented the girls. They didn't have the inappropriate language to help other girls up when they fall down. Something that is a problem today in high school and college sports. For them to see that, I think that's why they recognized them for the Sportsmanship Award. And to me, that's important when you're dealing with all the different officials throughout the league. So it's a applause to them.
And the officials give you a fine little award here. So NTL East basketball officials present the 22-23 Sportsmanship Award to Silver Hills basketball team. Ladies, awesome job, great season. Appreciate all the hard work you put in and the character and with which you did it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome to stay. See what a board meeting is.
If you want to go, we understand.
I guess I'll run this back. So before we open up for public comment, I just wanted to take a moment and share that our hearts go out to the Troy Area School District at this difficult time as they mourn the loss of their beloved teacher, Mrs. Woodward. Wishing the Troy family peace and comfort in this most difficult time.
Thank you very much. All right, so we'll open the meeting to public comment. Any member of the audience wishing to address the board about title programming or any other matter concerned properly raised in a public session? No one? All right, moving on to the consent. Oh,
You have one? Sorry about that. Okay. Please state your name and your place of residence, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
Maybe you can just project your face. There you
I
go.
can.
You'll be all right.
Good evening, members of the board, members of the community. My name is Brian Roof. I wanted to come here today to notify you all, the public, that it is in my interest to run for the board of directors this year. I came from Northeast Bradford, a small school, just like ours here, where my kids are growing up from 6th grade to 1st grade. I moved back here in 2013. In that time, I've spent a lot of my time with the youth. I've coached 3 soccer teams every year for the last 5 years. I've now run the youth wrestling program. While I was at Northeast, I was the president of the student council, worked closely with the students as well as the administration to help make progress and change for the better. I wanted to make sure that I notified you all before it came out on Facebook or social media or anything else, and just to introduce myself. My main interest is always going to be for the betterment of the kids, whatever sometimes that may be that difficult decision. But that's all I had tonight. I just want to say thank you for the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roof, for that. Appreciate it. Anyone else? All right, now we'll move on with the consent agenda. So the consent agenda tonight includes the minutes from the last meeting, instruction, including the comprehensive plan, a conference request, a letter of agreement between the Sarah School District and Meadows, a field trip request, and district volunteers, athletics, including personnel, except we're going to table the JV softball coach, which is number 2. Transfers. Finance, including transfers, the treasurer's report, the tax report, an agreement between the Sarah Area School District and Quest Tech, the air handler project. And that's it for the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry? Yep, so Dr. Loser, do you want to fill us in about the air handler
The
project?
air handler project. So that's from Stark Technologies, and we're looking to do the air handlers in the high school auditorium. Mr. Claypool and Mr. Bunker have been working on that to get that up and running. Do you have anything to add? I know Stark Tech's going to come in and do that. It'll be done in the summertime.
Yeah, we're hoping it'll be done in the summertime. There's about I think it was 14-week lag time from order of air handler to receipt of air handler. So fingers crossed that that's actually a legitimate time frame and we actually get the air handlers then. But yeah, we plan it to be a summer project. It's going to limit our capacity to use the auditorium for a good chunk of the summer because there will be a lot of scaffolding and stuff that goes up and probably stays up. The funding for the project will be mostly, if not all, ESSER funding. We had budgeted in part of ESSER 2, $400,000 for air handlers, and that's what the not-to-exceed price is on the bid. The bid came in slightly under that, but with contingencies and everything that happens, we figured we'd stick with the $400,000.
Thank you very much, Mr. Claypool. Anything else, Ms. Olson? Did you hear that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have one roll call agenda, which are the bills. So, Mr. Chico?
Okay, well,
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. We get a motion for the roll call agenda?
So, or, yeah.
So we have a motion, we have a second?
For the bill.
For the bills.
Yes, for the bills. Yeah, I'll make that a motion.
So we have a motion and a second.
okay, we'll begin with Mrs. Atkins. Yes, except I abstain on the roll. Ms. Olson? Yes. Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, abstain on 56, 57, and 58.
Mr. Bridger?
Yes. Thank you very much. So now tonight, we have a board discussion. Talk about property out at Litchfield.
So with the board's pleasure, I will share that the school district has received 5 bids for the Litchfield property. If you have any questions about those bids, certainly we discuss those at the committee. Any questions, thoughts, any specific you want to?
Yeah, can we just let everybody know what the bids were? I mean, I know we had 5 bids. What were the costs?
Sure. So we received a bid for the entire property, inclusive of the Litchfield building, for an amount of $246,400. We had a second bid come in for $313,600. We had a third bid for $180,000. We had a fourth bid that was only for 5 acres, because it was up to and including all of it in the building. So we had one that just was for 5 acres and inclusive of the building for $35,000. And we had a fifth bid for all at $316,000. Any other questions or information you'd like to have from the bids?
Yeah, can we talk about the potential tax revenue for the bids or plans?
Sure. So although when you sell property, you're not ever sure of what an individual will or will not utilize, or a company will or will not utilize the land for once it is sold and it is theirs, and the potential tax revenue from that. I do know that Mr. Claypool had shared earlier today that for the taxes of ownership, so that is at a rate of $1,500 per acre for assessed value, and then the tax would be about $8,500 on the full 90 acres for a year.
Yeah.
Okay. For an individual that would own that land, pay that tax.
Yes.
Okay. Other potential future would be if someone was to develop the land and put, whether it be a business or housing out there, then that would be an assessed value, and then that tax revenue would come to the school district as well. But we, again, don't know what anybody may or may not do with the land. Somebody could take the 90 acres and put it in, what's it called, green farming, clean and green, and then that would not be a tax revenue for our school district. So you have to weigh out all those options as a board.
I think the other thing too, Dr. Jill, would be, we might also want to throw out there that some of the bids, the way that we understand, will give us, give the school district access to the property out to the Satterley Creek Environmental Center, correct?
That is correct. So one of the bids that came in for all of the acreage was for an amount of money, and for the school district to continue utilizing it for our cross-country team, for the Satterley Creek Environmental, for us to have a partnership with that company and for that usage. So it was for an amount of money, but also for future usage for our student body, to utilize that for our science teachers to go out there, or anyone else that might want to take a field trip, for us to have events out there, cross-country to continue to use it, and so on. Yes, thank you. Any other questions?
Any other discussion? I know we don't plan on making any movement on this right now because we're missing quite a bit of our board, missing 3 members of our board. So I would like us to put it on the next agenda so we have the rest of the board here before we make a decision. Unless somebody's adamant and opposed to that.
Can we just say the date of our next meeting is for, just following this?
Thank you, I was just looking that up. So on Monday, March 6th is our next meeting, and so the board will tentatively be making a decision that evening, or that night. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on with the reports, the high school principal's report, Ms. Zealy.
Good evening, everyone. I only have a few things to talk about. We had a parent informational meeting just earlier tonight for parents of students in grades 9 through 11 to discuss course selection, credits, the graduation project, and different offerings at NTCC. We'll have an upcoming similar meeting for parents of current 8th graders. So if you have an 8th grader, look for that in the next month or so. The senior class had a successful Someone's Special dance Saturday night here at the high school. Students from Snyder Elementary were escorted by their parents and danced the evening away to tunes played by Mr. Roy, which is our DJ club advisor. It was actually a really good turnout. We weren't sure how it was going to go over. It was a really fun way for younger students to spend their Saturday night, and it raised some funds for the senior class. We've had a representative from the Ingersoll Rand Federal Credit Union coming into the high school during flex periods to speak with all of our students about getting the student branch back up and running again here at the high school. So this was a successful program that we've had in years past, and it ended because of the pandemic. So we're asking students to apply for the intern positions for that student branch to see if we can revitalize that. So I think Taylor's coming in 2 more days to talk to the rest of the students, handing out applications. The students, if they're interested, have to go through a brief interview process to become an intern. We're really hopeful that we'll get enough students interested to be able to open that back up this spring and then continue on through next year. So it's open to students in grades 7 through 12. If you have a student that might be interested, we have extra applications in the high school office. That's it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Seeley. Anything, Mr. Howie? Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Morrell.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the Snyder PTG for their fundraising efforts with Gertrude Hawk that did close today. We'll be getting those numbers out, and that was a fundraiser to help pay for the student's yearbook, as they like to try and provide that free of cost. February 28th, our class pictures, so bring your smile that day. It also goes along with Spirit Week, as it's Read Across America, so we have 5 fun-filled days of lots of activities, beginning with Mrs. Morell's favorite day, wear your pajamas on Monday. So mark that day on your calendar. That will be our first activity. We are beginning to look at our middle of the year data. We'll be coming up with some action plans on what we can do to help our students reach their end of the year benchmark. So that will be a continued project as we go along our way. We have a follow-up meeting on our MTSS journey. We have some visitors coming from Catan to speak with us tomorrow morning. So fingers crossed for that. Open Forest, I'm sure Mrs. Agnew will say some more about this. Get those chili recipes out, cornbread recipes out, and be ready to do that first Saturday in March from 10 to 2 at Satterley Creek Environmental Center. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Rell.
You're welcome.
PSBA, Mr. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Petrini. And first off, I want to say that there's 3 different sectional meetings that are going to be taking place starting in April. They can all be done virtual, or you can travel to whatever site, even though the first couple of sites are quite a distance. April 4th, improving school safety and security. April the 12th, the impact of poverty in schools. And then on April the 13th, it's going to be Hill Talk, state government legislative and policy initiatives. And also you'll get a good budget preview. And that one is being held semi-locally in Montoursville. You can register out on my PSBA account. And again, I will be at the Montoursville one coming up on April the 13th. I also want to bring attention to the 2023 State of Education report. It's right now out on the web, out on the PSBA website. You can go in there and check that out and just see what has been happening from 2022 right into 2023. Just briefly, 57% of the school districts did respond in this special report. Student mental health and staffing shortages are the largest issues, it appears, amongst the school districts that did reply. And though the school children's parents are saying that the schools are handling the mental health issues very well in their districts, so that was good news. Special education, though, population has increased by 16%. Top budget pressures, charter school payments, and special ed costs. We know about that. And also subs for staffing and instructional aids and transportation staffing is still hurting out there. But one good thing is the stress amongst staff with COVID is starting to drop. So there's some good and there's some bad in this report. But again, if you get a chance to go out on the PSBA website and do take a look at that, it's full of good information, and probably I'll no sooner say that, and we'll probably be getting those little booklets. So, but anyway, that's what I have from PSBA, Mr. Petrini. Onward to Northern Tier Career Center. Okay, I can do that. Better than 50% of the 40 USA Skills participants are going to state competitions. Amongst some of our students, Cole Gilvitis, also McKenna Garrison, and Victor Mumo will all be going to the States to compete in that competition. We had 40 people, or 40 youngsters that did participate in the USA Skills competition, and I think it was, better than 50% that will be moving on. Little Learners program down at the Northern Tier Career Center has been open for 1 full month, and it's going very well. Again, it was a pleasure to be down there on one of their opening days down there and just see how the youngsters were adapting to with their students that were in there to help out, as well as with their instructors. It was neat to watch the kids interact with each other. 40 students are right now in co-ops down at the Career Center. And also, I want to make a quick mention, and everyone is invited, whether you be in the audience, whether you be here on the board. The Career Center's demonstration night is on March the 2nd from 6 till 7:30 p.m. And it really gives everybody a chance to watch the students showcase their talents down there. So if you get a chance to, come on down there and join them. There'll be refreshments, and you'll get all loads of demonstrations down there. Those kids do a great job down there. But that's everything from the Career Center, Mr. Petrini.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Cole. Last, Mrs. Agnew?
I have just a couple of things. The biggest thing, the legislative update, I don't know how many of you have heard, the fair funding ruling. A Commonwealth Court judge recently ruled that PA's school funding system is unconstitutional. The judge ruled the deficiencies between high wealth and low wealth schools have contributed to the state's failure to provide all students with access to a comprehensive, effective, and contemporary system of public education that will give them a meaningful opportunity to succeed academically, socially, and civically. So that was plus. We'll see where it goes from here. But, and then I have, pass these out. BLAST Intermediate Unit 17 is joined with the Pennsylvania College of Technology to offer a community documentary screening of A Shot in the Dark. It's a story about Anthony Ferrero, a blind high school wrestler who attempts to defy the odds and win the New Jersey State Championship. The screening taking place on Tuesday, March 7th at 6 p.m. is sponsored by the Deaf Blind Resource Team of BLAST IU-17 and is provided at no cost. The event will be held in the Klump Academic Center Auditorium on the Penn College campus, with doors opening at 5:30. And then following the film, Ferrero will be part of a question and answer session, sharing his story of self-advocacy and perseverance with the audience. If there's a link, you can register for the event. They've been talking quite a bit about it. It sounds pretty interesting, very, if anybody can make it, probably.
So in addition to sharing this out, Mr. Claypool, will you make sure our coaches have this as well?
Sure.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Anything from Satterley Creek?
As Mrs. Monroe said, please keep in mind, March 4th is Open Forest. If you have a chili recipe, you want to enter the contest, or the chili contest, that'd be great. And then we have a lot of activities going on. The sled dog cardboard race is also going on. Anybody wants to participate in that, make their own, I think that's on their website to make the sled, how it has to be. I think it's cardboard and don't take this one you can use, but that's a lot of fun. This is the third annual for that, doing that. And many other events. I hope the weather is good and hopefully a lot of people will come and join us.
Mrs. Agnew, the dogs are there, perhaps we should ask others to keep their dogs.
Yeah, no,
on
yeah,
that
yeah.
day, since
Please
the
do not
dogs are
bring
coming.
any other
Usually
dog.
have a-
The sled dogs there. We have the signs out. They don't go well with the other dogs. Thank you.
Sorry, Ollie.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have much for board president's report. I do have, for parent, I attended the meeting tonight, parents group meeting tonight, and I'd like to thank the administration, Mrs. Ely, Mrs. Schaefer. You guys have done a phenomenal job bringing more opportunities to our students. With the partnership with Guthrie, reintroducing Spanish 2, reintroducing all of those things. All of our teachers have stepped up to make it really great. So I just thank you for all your work and effort in that. So appreciate it. That's all I have. Superintendent's report.
So before I share my report, Mr. Claypool would like a few minutes as the AD to
Yeah.
update the board and community.
Just a couple of things quick. First off, sorry, Principal Ely. I told her that I thought that the boys team was going to be here tonight. That's actually going to be in 2 weeks, or the next board meeting. For those that don't know, the boys qualified for district. Weather permitting, the game is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock down in Muncie. Kids are excited to go. Coaches are excited to go. We've got a fan bus set up and ready to go, so that's exciting as well. So good luck to the guys tomorrow. I think this is the third or fourth year in a row we played Muncie in the first round. The last couple of years, I think it was 1-8. This year it's 3-6. So we'll see what happens. Just wanted to give a shout out to the junior high wrestlers. We had a pretty good showing at the junior high sectional meet in Athens on Friday. Jordan Brown took first place, and then we had 2 kids who took third place, Brennan Cook and Corey Bird. So congratulations to all who participated. Brady Flint took fourth, okay. Brady took 4th, and I think we had somebody else who might have taken 5th. So overall, it was a strong showing by our junior high wrestling group. wanted to just put out there, tomorrow we'll be doing our final push for signups for spring sports. Our numbers are actually pretty good at this point. We could use a few more kids out for the track teams, but baseball, softball have pretty good numbers right now, and many of those kids have been, especially on the softball side, showing up for their open gyms and things. So we're excited for the spring season with our coaches in place, and we'll see what happens with that. And then finally, I just wanted to mention that our assistant girls basketball coach, Coach Lindblad, is also, as we announced at the last board meeting, our new varsity football coach, and he's in attendance tonight. So formally again, welcome aboard, Coach Lindblad. Coach met with players a week and a half ago, roughly, to talk about the season. I was very pleasantly surprised at the number of kids that were there. We had probably, I think, 34, 35 kids total show up. Now that's set, 4 of those were junior high, but there were still 30 or so, 9th through 12th graders. So, and we know that there were some kids that couldn't make it because of NTCC and things like that. Coach met with Football Booster president tonight earlier, had some preliminary discussion with them, and Thursday night meeting with parents of the football team. So we're picking that up, and our varsity program will start the last week of August, I believe. Our first game's the last week of August, but the varsity program will be starting shortly with lifting and moving through the summer. So thank you for the time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Claypool.
So I wanted to share that earlier tonight, the Curriculum Instruction Assessment Committee met in the conference room downstairs. It's a public meeting. We talked about the professional development that is happening with our staff. We have letters training happening, which is a science of reading for our K-2 teachers and our support staff, our reading specialists, our special education teachers. We're ahead of the game on that. The state just pushed out that all educators will need to start that training, or the science of reading training, starting in the 23-24 school year. It will be a 3-hour requirement every 5 years, so we're ahead of the game, and they're going to allow this school year, if training happens, to count starting for next year for that 3-year mark. We also had MeWe training, which is the grant that we received in connection or combination with the IU. It's over $80,000 for the Sayre Area School District for the Meaningful Watershed Educational Experiences. We are connected with the Conservation District for that grant. We're connected with Valley Energy for that grant. We currently are starting with our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers, and so once they're trained, students will begin to have those watershed educational experiences in the fall. And then we'll start training our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers in science in that. And so it's a 3-year grant, so over the next 3 years, and then we'll go back and add K-2 after they finish their letters training. The other training, and we have received funding from TAN in combination with the IU, the multi-tiered system of support, MTSS. So we're really focused in on our math curriculum and honing in on doing action plans for small groups of students to get them to grow as mathematicians. We talked about the credit shift that the high school is doing. Currently, the state requires a 21 credits to graduate from high school. Sayre has been at 24 for years. We're maintaining that 24, but we're shifting away from the requirement out of all cores into more elective to give kids more opportunity of choice in the realm of electives. We are going to maintain that all students here at the high school will be required to take driver's ed. That is a half a credit out of all of the credits that they take in their electives courses. We also talked about the data analysis from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year and the growth that our students are seeing in the area of specifically ELA and reading on grade level. We have a couple grade levels that we are concerned about at that percentage, so we started talking about an action plan. Mrs. Morrell spoke to that at the mic this evening as well. And so we're working with a team of teachers and seeing if we need to shift any supports from within a building to specifically support a couple grade levels additionally through the second half of the school year. So we'll continually look at that data and rearrange as needed. I would like to thank the board for supporting me in the National Superintendent Certificate Program. I was able to travel last week to San Antonio and participate in that coursework and to grow as a learner myself. And so I attended sessions on aligning purpose with practice. I attended Portraits of a Graduate, which is a wonderful program out of a neighboring school district, in the sense I say neighboring in Pennsylvania. There were over 7,000 attendees at the national conference, and I met superintendents as far as Alaska. So there were people there from every state that attended. I went to a session titled Engaging Students Through Industry Partnerships and Real-Time Problem Solving. So really looking at and connecting with superintendents of other rural school districts that are making it happen for their students in a small community, but still making opportunities for their kids by branching out and looking at other opportunities. We were blessed by seeing Alex Boyer, who actually comes from England, and he now is a member of the, America, and he did a Change Your Life about mental health, and there was a mental health wellness session that was almost 2 hours long, and I'm telling you, he engaged everybody that was sitting in that audience the entire 2 hours, and it almost bypassed. I couldn't believe how much time I had been sitting there and enjoyed him. Stephen Covey, national known author, spoke at the second general session on the second day of the conference, and he talked about leadership and education and the need to have a mind shift and making sure that we're educating today's students. And that's a part of our mission here, educating today's students for tomorrow's world. The final session was titled, It's Not Either Or. We must lead for the future while valuing the past. So I think about that, honoring the past of what we have and looking forward to the future and what can be. And so when I think about all the shifts and changes that have occurred here in the last couple of years and what we have on the docket for this upcoming school year, with the electives here at the high school, the shift in MTSS, I couldn't be more proud, of what's happening here in the district and the work of the teaching team that occurs here to make it happen for them. So I thank you. Thank you for attending that. So.
Thank you very much. Does any other member of the board have anything for this evening? Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?